Hello, on today's video I will show you how to make wall jumping script for your game, and I will show you how it works. So if I will jump on the wall, I can press jump again, and backward force is added to our game to our player, and I can jump on the wall upwards. I can also press jump and to jump onto other objects. Also, the feature of this script will be that when you are sliding on the wall, as you can see here, if you will stop pressing arrow, you will drop faster from the wall. If you would like to create the script for the movement and for double jumping the same way I did, I will put somewhere here on the right corner link for the previous video. Okay. So if you are going to like today's video, don't forget to press the like button and to subscribe to my channel. So let's start working. First, what we are going to need is to have walls in our game to be able to jump from. So now let's create empty game object, let's reset its position and rename it to walls. Okay. Under that game object, just take your graphic, move it under the walls game object, and here you can rotate your wall. This is the graphic I will use for my wall. Yeah, let's position it somewhere here. Let's make it like 2 on Y, and on X let maybe 0.5. 0.5 would be okay. Maybe let's move it a little bit farther, like to 45. Okay, and now to be able to collide with our wall, we need our box collider attached to our wall game object. For now I will hide the background to see better the collider. Yeah, okay, this is our collider, this is enough for us. And here on the player, as you remember from previous video, if you didn't saw the previous video, it doesn't matter, we'll create our check again. So what we are going to need is to add some collider that will tell us that we are touching the wall. In previous video we've also made similar collider for the ground. Now let's make a new one for touching the walls. So what needs to be done, just to create empty here game object, let's rename it to wall touch detection, and let's add a circle collider here, circle collider 2D. Let's make this collider trigger, and let's change the size to 0.03, yeah, or maybe 4 to see it better. Okay, and now when we zoom in, we will move this collider to the side of our game object. So as you can see here, our box collider is here, and this one, let's make it to be extending a little bit of our current main collider for our body. Okay, so as you remember from previous video, if this one is marked as trigger, it means that it can interfere with other box colliders. For example, this square collider is not set as trigger, so it means that we'll be staying on other colliders. So okay, I will press play and I will show you what I mean. So as you can see here, if I will now move the scene, and here we have also collider on our platform, on this one. So as you can see here, this trigger collider overlaps other colliders. But if you will not mark the trigger collider, it means it will be staying on the border of other colliders. Okay, perfect. And one more thing before we move to coding, we need to set up our walls on the layer that we will call walls. So let's write here walls, and here change. Okay, let's first stop playing the game. And here now, when you have added your layer with the name walls, yeah, you need to make it outside of the play loop. Let's add to the walls layer, and let's change here walls to the walls layer. Okay, yes, change all the children. Okay, now we can move to the coding. First, what I want to do is to check if I'm touching the wall, and then if I'm touching the wall, I want to slide slowly from the wall. So for that we need a few variables. First will be public float wall sliding speed, and also we will need to set up our collider for our wall. So let's prepare a few more variables. First one will be okay, let's write it here. Public, or maybe without the public, we don't need public. Bool touching wall. Another one will be public transform wall check, and another one will be public layer wall layer. Okay, I will explain you in a second use of those functions. So layer mask. Okay, sorry, not functions but variables. Okay, so let's write new functions. Here, let's create our function for our. Yeah, let's check if we are. First, let's check if we are touching our wall. Public void check if touching wall, and let's for the function let's write let's use our bool variable we just created. So touching wall will be equal to physics 2D that. Now we use function from physics 2D overlap cycle overlap circle, and what this function will do, this function will return true if our circle collider we just created will be overlapping our wall, the walls that we set up as on the walls layer mask just before a second. Okay, so let's write wall check. Yes, so this wall check, as you remember, okay, this is the function we've just created. This is our transform. So wall check will be position of our position of our circle. So now we'll tell where our circle, this one, let's rename this one the wall check to be more clear. This will be position of our circle. This one will check. Okay. Position. Then we need to take the collider from this object. Yes, so get component circle collider 2D. Yes, so this is the circle collider. We'll take the radius from this one, so we'll check how big is it, and we'll check if it's colliding with the wall layer. Wall layer. Okay, so now this function will return true as soon as we will touch our wall. So let's write it here in the update. So we'll be checking on the update if we are touching our wall. So now let's go to Unity, and here on our player, as you can see here, let's provide value already for our wall sliding speed. It will be 0.2, and here on our wall check, yes, so this one, let's move it here, and on our wall layer, let's choose layer of our walls. So as I mentioned to you, this will be position and size of our circle collider, this one, to understand when we touching this wall, which is on the wall layer. So that's the function which we just wrote. And now let's write function for our sliding. Okay, so for our sliding wall slide, I want to, when we jump and touch the wall, so when we'll jump on this wall and we'll touch it, I want to, okay, because I will show you. Because now, if you will go to the wall and touch it, you are sliding like nothing is happening, nothing fun is happening. So yeah, you're sliding with normal speed. So when we'll touch the wall, I want to slow the speed of how fast we are falling from the wall. Okay. So let's go to our code. And now, if we will touch the wall, we want to drop slowly. So let's write public void wall slide. And now let's write function. So if our touching wall is true, so if we are touching wall, so this is a return true value from this function. If touching wall, then we should write rigid body 2D that velocity is equal to new and vector 2, and now we'll set our velocity. So rigid body 2D that velocity. Okay, for those one who don't want to watch the first episode with the movement, so here we are just getting the rigid body 2D component, the physics component, from our player game objects. So this is that one. Yeah. So velocity.x will clamp. So we want to keep the current speed on x value when we are touching the wall, and we want to clamp value on which we are sliding downwards, so the value on the y direction. So let's write mat f dot clamp. Okay, and let's clamp rigid body to the velocity. Yeah, this here we are telling what value we want to clamp, so it will be rigid body to the that velocity that y, and how strong we want it to clamp. So the lowest value for the clamp will be minus our speed, because we are falling, so we are moving on opposite direction of the y value. So I will explain it a little bit more maybe. So here, do you see that arrow? This is our y arrow I'm mentioning. So if we are moving upwards, the speed is on the plus value. If we are moving downwards, it's on the minus value. The speed is on the minus value. So since we will be allowing us to fall down, but with some clamped speed, so we need clamp on minus value. Yeah, on the value we are moving downwards. So yeah. So now our wall sliding speed is the lowest speed we can have, and we'll just write float here, float max, after that max value. That means that we are not clamping our highest speed value from this function. Okay, so now if we move to our game, let's press Ctrl save and let's play to test. Okay, let's press play. I will show the background. Okay, so now I'm moving, jumping, as you can see here. It's not working. Okay, why this is not working? On our player we have wall sliding speed. Okay, no, because we haven't added our value nowhere in the update function. So let's move back to our script and let's add here our function on fixed update wall wall slide. Where is this one? Wall slide. Yeah, we call it wall slide. Okay. So in the fixed update, let's add wall slide. Press Ctrl Save. Let's go to test. Because we need to add one more feature to this one. Okay, background. Okay, press play. And now, if I will jump to our wall, as you can see here, we are falling slowly. Okay, and I want to, if when I stop pressing D, I want to slow faster, but now it doesn't work like that. So if I will just touch the wall, I'm not touching the keyboard, and my character is falling slowly. So to change that, I will just add one line here, and I will write if we need to check if our input, if we are touching the keyboard, to be honest. So if our move input will be equal to 0, so it means that we are not pressing any arrow. Okay, so if our input will be if we will be 0, so touching wall bool value will be equal to false. It means we do not touch the wall. Okay, and if and else otherwise, we want to change our rigid body speed to the ones to the one we just I just showed you how it works. So now if I will go back to the game and I will press play, okay, I will jump to the wall. I'm holding arrow and I stop pressing arrow, so I will start falling faster. Okay, I will show it again. Okay, I'm holding arrow, stop pressing, and our character is falling fast. Yeah, okay, perfect. That's how we want it to work. Now, to be able to double jump, we need to write few more functions. Okay, so let's get back to coding. Okay, so now I want to allow our player to jump when it's touching the wall, but there is one tricky thing about how our wall jump will work, is that when we are pressing arrow key to touch the wall and not to slide down fast from the wall, we are constantly pressing the arrows, so it means we are constantly adding move speed to our player. And because I want to make a jump in the way that our player, when it jumps, it's not jumping straight upwards, but it jumps a little bit backwards, so I need to stop detection of arrow key for like 5 cents of the seconds. So okay, I will make variable for that, and during the coding I will try to explain for you to understand what it means, what it exactly means. Okay, so first let's add the variables. Let's write public float push out from wall force. So this will be the force I just mentioned. So when we jump upwards, we'll make a little big move back for our player. So if it will, okay, so let's make it like that. When I will catch our player, so if we'll be touching the wall and I will jump, this will be additional force that it will move a player a little bit backwards. So for example, if I will, yeah, let's say we are jumping in the direction of this line, so if we'll jump, and during the jump it will be moving it like a parabolic movement, a little bit backwards. Okay, so that's that value we'll use for. And another ones we'll be using, what we need to use more is to use variable that will tell us that we are currently wall jumping. So let's write bool variable wall jumping. Okay, let's write one more variable here. Let's write public float, and let's call it wall jump time. This variable we'll use to tell our game engine how long we want our velocity, the backward force, that force we just were talking about, how long it should be working. Okay, I will show you how to code that. So now let's first create function that will tell us that we are no longer jumping. So let's write public void, and let's write not wall jumping, and let's write wall jumping is equal to false. Okay, so I hope it's clear. And now let's create function for our wall jump. Yeah, so that's the function we came here for. Okay, so public void wall jump. Okay, so now when we want to wall jump, first we need to be touching the wall. So if touching wall, and also we are not touching the ground, because for jumping from the ground we have other function. So if is grounded is false. So is grounded is the collider that returns true when this circle below, as you remember, I just showed it on the start of the video. So that circle below, that is overlapping our ground elements, so it means that we are on the ground. So it allows us, it resets the count of our double jumping. If you would like to know more about that, how it's make the double jumping, please view the video on the series on the 2D platform on my channel. That's explained here. Okay, so now if we get back to coding, so we are touching the wall and we are not staying on the ground, and of course we will press our jump button, which is hard coded here. It will be input dot get key down, and it will be our space button. So key code dot space. Okay. So now what I'm saying here, if we are touching the wall and we are not on the ground, and now if the player will press space, our wall jumping will be equal to true. So after we say it's true, our rigid body velocity, rigid body 2D dot velocity is equal to new vector 2 so new vector 2, and now we'll take opposite direction of our move input. As you remember from previous video, our move input when we are using keyboard to jumping is or -1 or 0 or 1. So now we want to, because when we are touching the wall, for example, like on our video, so if we'll be touching this wall from this side, we need to keep our right arrow button, and our push out force, we want it to be on the minus according to the arrow we are pressing, so the opposite value. So that's what the minus is for. Okay, I hope it's clear. If not, please write a comment. I will try to explain it in simple words. Okay, so here our speed on the vector x will be our move input multiplied by push out from wall force. Okay, and we need to add our jump force. So this is just the float value we defined in the previous video. So it's just jump force value. Okay, so this jump force means how much velocity we are adding on the y direction, or how big velocity we set up on the y direction. It's more precise like that. And now we'll use function to call invoke. This is invoke. This function will call our function not wall jumping, okay, jumping, and that will allow us to jump, okay, not wall jumping after wall jump time. Okay, so what's happening here in this function is that this function, after this loop is performed, this invoke will call not wall jumping, this function, which will change our wall jumping to false value, okay, so not wall jumping, after the time, wall jump time. So it means that after we press space, after some time defined from our game view, so here, I will go to player, and here this will be the time defined, yes, wall jump time, so let's write it 005, something like that. So after this time, our value will be changed to false, okay, of our wall jump. And why we need that value to be changed to false is that when we will call our function here on the fixed update, we want to be able, okay, where is our move function? Move. We want our function move, as I said on the start when we were, not at the start of the video, but on the start where we started coding the jump and the values for the jump, wall jump, we need to stop this function of the move. So we don't want to add force for a small delay of the small time, because that way we'll not be able to jump out of the wall. The backward force will not work. So for that reason, we write if wall jumping is not true. So wall jumping is not true, then we can use our move function. Okay. So here on the update, under the jump, let's add our wall jump function, wall jump function. Okay, so we have move input, check if touching the wall. Okay, let's check on the fixed update for touching the wall. This is better play for this one. Wall slide. Okay, we have all the functions added we need. So now we can test how our game works. Okay, so let's press play. And here, if I will go here, yeah. Okay, as you can see here, because we haven't added the force. Okay, I was curious why it's not working. Jumps and mount, push out from wall force, and this one will be push out for wall force. You should combine with that wall jump time. Okay, so alright, let's write 5 here and let's check how it will behave. As you can see here, if I press space, I'm jumping a little bit out of the wall. Okay, so now maybe let's make it like 1.4. You will see that time. You can see here, but if I make it like that, my move function is not working by 1.4 seconds. So it's not good for me. Let's write 0.05 and maybe push out from wall force. Let's make it 10 to check the behavior. Yeah, so I'm moving further. So you need a little bit to combine those two factors. Okay, now it looks much better. Okay, so let's make something like that. Let's make this 10, this let's make it 0.1, and that way we have achieved the behavior of our game that we want to do. That was all I was planning for today's video. So if you like the video, please don't forget to press the like button and to subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any questions, please write them in the comment. I will try to answer as soon as possible. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.